Hey, welcome. In this video we will start the discussion about this Ponderosa pine and see how we will repot it with view of styling it later in 2021, and to determine if I need to create a new pot or if something that I already have works for it. So this tree was collected by Randy Knight in 2017, possibly before, but most likely 2017, and I bought it from Walter Paul at Nature's Way Nursery in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, during the winter study with Walter Paul and Jim Doyle in 2018. So I bought it the year after it was collected, and now we are in 2021, so it's had 2018 to recover, 2019 to recover, and 2020 to recover. It's been 3 years in recovery. The needles that you see now are about 10 centimeters long or so. They are about double the size of the needles that it had when it was purchased. A testament to how much of difficult conditions this tree was surviving in where it was collected, and how much more conducive to growth the conditions in captivity are. This tree is not an easy tree to style. It is very challenging. It has, depending on where you look, how you look at, very straight lines that like here, that will need to be dealt with. On the other hand, as the quality of Randy Knight's collecting skills are, this has a very small root base that will allow us to put it in almost any position we want to. So the goal of today is to explore the future planting angle and primary front, and decide based on that which pots to use. My first instinct is to raise the tree up, and we have an interesting base that can be simulated in a sense. We have an interesting base that can be simulated by the existence. Let me get another block here before I have an accident. I'll have to tie this to the table pretty soon. But we have a very interesting base. This is a root or whatever it is that went very long, but there was a root mass here, so it was cut here. But this part can be hidden, and so we can simulate a much bigger root base based on this continuation of the trunk going underground. As I said, there is a very straight line here that I don't like at all. As you can see from here, this is how it shows more clearly, and this base, this straight line, and clearly this straight line cannot be shown. In a few cases, a straight line may be worth showing, but most of the time straight lines and especially straight lines that are parallel to the horizon or vertical. So horizontal or vertical lines are really bad. So here my idea is, if I can properly place the tree with respect to your viewing angle as opposed to mine, my idea is to play with the perspective and have that very straight piece of trunk, which is straight from when viewed from this side, but actually has a little bit of movement going that way and then back, and that somehow shows here. It is going a little bit like this, and so I'm hiding at the same time the straight line that we had there and showing an interesting movement and compacting the tree because of the perspective by means of letting it go that way and then it's coming back. This shows a little bit of an interesting base here, but not perfect. If we could put it a little bit sideways, more or less like this, perhaps like this, we have a little bit more of a bigger base that shows. We still show some of the negative space here that gives an additional insinuation of movement that way and then back. And this is the front that I'm thinking to use, and I will stand up now at camera height to look. I'm looking here right next to the camera. So we have this strong base, we have this movement that comes. There is a little bit of a straight line here that we could deal with, perhaps. So perhaps if this would come a little bit forward like this. Let's see. Right now we don't have a straight line here anymore. We still have the movement there. I'm trying to make sure that you can see exactly what I see. I apologize if I'm crossing in front of the camera. So now we have this movement, but now we're nullifying a very beautiful movement that we have here. I will move the trunk to show you. We have actually this beautiful movement here. It's one of the most pronounced movements, but if I try to show this movement, I have no choice but to show the straight line here. So let's take a look from the other side, just for fun. When you look at a tree and you think of a base, it's worth looking 180 degrees to see if that is also interesting. So that would be more or less around here. That is also interesting, and that hides the line, that shows that movement at the base a little better. We still have a strong base. We have some of the movement here. We see this line that was hidden before. We see the strong base because it's coming this way here. the trunk, so we could actually show a strong base while hiding this bit here if it cannot be cut. If there are lots of roots underneath here and we cannot shorten this, we'll have to live with it. The part that goes underground can be cut straight, but this is a potential front also. It has a very feminine but powerful movement here. It's hiding that front, that straight line. Let's try a little bit here. This starts to show a little more of that straight line. If I lift this foliage up a little bit, it shows. So perhaps coming here is the best move. I quite like this as the front. If this were the front, we would have an apex and upper branching created by this, a back branch depth created by this, and this branch coming here to create a defining branch. And this would be very asymmetric, with the apex made with this area here, perhaps together with that. That would break the boundary of the container if we were to use a round container. So this is a possibility. Let's go back 180 degrees. Somewhere here. Somewhere here. This definitely has a stronger base. But all the foliage is going to the back, and it would be a lot of work to bring it forward. Unless we don't use it. So in that case, this would be the back branching. This would create a path here. Yeah, I think it would be easier. This could be a this could have a slightly stronger base. I think I have a feeling. I cannot quite see in the 2D picture, which is normally very useful to look at. This movement is awesome here, but it's everything going to the back. Now, if we come back here to where we were talking earlier, somewhere here, this movement is nice too. So I'm tending to go this way. This tree doesn't have the very strong sharp angle near the base to make it into a cascade or something like that, and so that is out of the question here. I think this is the best solution. This branch here is entirely dead, so this will be turned into a gin. and this branch here can come either in front or behind, as it is at the moment of that. So I think this is the best. I think this is the best front. Hiding that movement, having this strong base and movement, and then coming up here, a little bit of a confusion, too much wood, but then coming up. And we would probably gin all of this. I would probably gin all of that. There is only this bit of foliage here. I would probably gin this, so this branch comes down, and this is used to create the apex together with this. I have to think how I would use that. My goal is also to try to use as much foliage as possible. I don't have the intention to unnecessarily weaken the tree, to try to remove everything that may not be necessary at the moment. I will be repotting this tree in the coming weeks. This is part of this conversation. And so when I style this tree in the fall, after the growing season is over, after the sheath of the new growth has fallen, then I want to keep as much foliage as possible, and this may in turn translate into not necessarily having the cleanest view of what the future image for this tree that I have will be, but an interim image, and whatever the growth tells me, whatever the tree tells me, will then lead me to a new interaction with the tree in the future, where I will take advantage of areas that grew better than others, or have a better idea of how to style it than I am having now, or react otherwise to how the tree responds to all of this, which may be shedding some branch that I at the moment may think it's important. So the idea is to work with the tree. The idea is to have a tree that is strong and healthy, and creating a sustainable design with natural lines. So for now, I think this would be the idea. For this tree. And for this branch here, I could sort of create a certain movement going from behind this, having this ginned and contrasting with the dark bark of the living branches, but having this branch that is the defining branch coming down in a way that perhaps accentuates the movement, so it comes back in a little bit and out somewhere here, and all of that outside the rim of the pot. And I think in this case a round pot is a good option, or an hexagonal pot. I have, for example, this hexagonal pot as an option. It could work for this. But it would only work, this specific pot, it would only work if I am able to decrease the length here. I have a bigger pot in the same shape, an hexagonal pot that I'm planning to use for my second Ponderosa pine, and that would otherwise be too big for this one. I will show it to you anyway, but it would be way too big for this tree. So this is bigger. I think it's excessively big for this tree. It would definitely fit it, but I think I will use this pot for the other Ponderosa pine. The trunk would be lost in this big pot, and the other Ponderosa has a much bigger trunk. Now I want to explore here the possibility of a cement pot that I made last year. Let me see if I can reach it. Space is limited in my garage, so let's see. So this pot here is a cement pot with lateral aeration that I made last year, and the idea is to put sphagnum moss to cover these holes, just like you would use on a sphagnum wall or on a slab planting, and this makes up for a lot more aeration for the roots than a standard pot with only aeration at the bottom. This doesn't have aeration at the bottom. One advantage of this is that stub of the here could even possibly come out through this hole. That would be quite interesting, a piece of wood, a piece of gin coming out of here. I don't know if it fits, but if it does, it would be fantastic to have a gin coming out of the pot like that. So in that case, if that were to be, this would be the pot, and I think it fits quite well. It doesn't need, there is a space even for not having to have the root come out. It's a bit big actually for this tree, but I may use it. I may use it, or I may create something new for it. What do you guys think? Should I create something new, or the color fits well, the shape fits with the rugged natural edge. The depth fits as well. I think. Yeah, it definitely does. The question is, do I have roots considerably close to this bottom edge here or not? This tree was kept in this angle, or even a more pronounced angle actually, something like this, the entire growing season, so it can also go even more upright, but bringing it more upright also brings potentially the apex more on top of the base, and that is something that I don't want to do. I want to maximize the symmetry, and so if I bring it too much upright, I will be having the apex right on top of the base, and that will make a round pot less effective here. So I don't want to have it that tilted up. I want it slightly less, but because it was kept in this angle for the entirety of last year, it may well be that there is more root mass here than in the middle part. I don't know actually. It's all the dynamic of water and oxygen within the root system and where the actual roots are, that I don't really know where they are. But all of this is something that we'll find out when we repot. So I need to have a few options of pots at the time. Let me check one more pot here as a curiosity. So this is more or less the angle that I want to use, and I could use this round pot here, which is a bit big also again for this tree, but this is a possibility for now. This is a pot with a very slanted profile, with the upper and lower rim, upper and lower decoration, and it's round obviously. This is, I think, a Japanese pot, Tokonami, not sure, doesn't really matter. But the question is, this is too big. The pot is too big and too powerful for the tree, I think, so it wouldn't work. So we are left with the option of using this pot here as I described. So let me change a bit the angle here. So one option is this pot here, which is a bit big but definitely fits the tree. I think it fits really well actually. Or to create something for it. Or if the roots allow, to decrease the size to the point where I can use this one here. But I doubt that I will be able to. So most likely I will use this one here. I may create something similar to this but slightly smaller, just for the purpose of trying to have the tree in a smaller pot, but if not having this one to fall back onto. So I think this is the discussion that I wanted to have today. If you have any ideas, I will give you a 360 again of the tree. It has a strong base by virtue of this trunk here. it has a defect on this straight line here that has to be hidden or eventually bent, but it may be hard to bend that. I could do a wedge cut here as I did on a larch last year. You can see the video on my library. Maybe it can be bent without any wedge cut, but I'm not sure. It seems very bristle. The branches that didn't bark up yet are quite flexible, but as you get to areas where they are barked up already, then it's another story. So even here I can bend this area here. This area here starts to become a little bit more problematic. I will still, when I style this tree, put raffia everywhere here and add some movement to it, particularly with this front, to add some movement here, coming here and out, and then framing a little bit this elbow here. So we will have the pads here, apex here with these branches, and these ones here creating depth, as well as this one, and this being the defining branch, trying to add some movement. So I think it's going to be a beautiful tree, possibly the best that this specific tree can give us. It is healthy, it has plenty of buds. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 buds. I don't know if they are pollen buds or growth buds. Here we have a bud. So it's growing quite healthy, and I should repot it in the coming weeks. This is in my cold frame at around between 2 and 5 degrees on the warmer days, but the worst of winter is still coming here in Montreal. It's not past yet, and so we still have a few weeks before this decides that the increasing daylight time and potentially temperatures, but not in Montreal, would tell it that it's time to start growing. So this is it for now. I hope you enjoyed the discussion about the design. It's not something that there is often time on a video that you want to make that is sufficiently short. But if you have any opinions, any suggestions, please let me know. And until the next one, bye bye for now.